Let's welcome Kathy Holly and Spotlight.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Spotlight. I am so happy to be here tonight. I have two wonderful artists in different fields. And over here on my left, Kaitlin Bove, who is a conductor. I don't think I've ever had a conductor on my show before. This is exciting. And then Deanna Adams, who's an artist and who does make sun catchers. Well, I thought I'd start with you, Deanna, because you are from the general area. You are from originally, where were you born?
I was born in San Francisco, and I grew up in Half Moon Bay.
Well, this is perfect because I understand you show a lot of your beautiful sun catchers in Half Moon Bay. And of course, everybody just get in your car, drive down the coast. There you are. It's great down there. Well, how did you get started making sun catchers?
I was collecting shells on the beach ever since I was a girl, and I found that a lot of them had holes in them, so I thought I'd string them and put them in the window. And then when I found sea glass looking beads, I felt like, oh, I'm going to use those, and then I'll use some crystals, and then it just started blossoming from there.
And a sun catcher tell us what it is, because I think when I first heard, the word sun catcher, I thought, what does that mean?
Well,
Explain.
The crystals are faceted, and so when the sun comes in through the window and catches the crystal, it'll make rainbows on the walls.
Beautiful. So you hang them by a window?
You can hang them by a window or lamp. I've hung them in my rooms, bathroom.
Or in the bathroom? So do you put a hook up next to the window, or how do you do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can do it from the curtain rod. You can screw in a little screw in the windowsill.
Oh. Beautiful. And these are gorgeous. I'm looking at them from a distance. We have to get some of them up close so the camera can focus on them. I would like to ask you what theme we're looking at, because I see beautiful sea shells, of course.
I do love the ocean theme, sea creatures. So one of my favorite ones that I hang in my bathroom is my jellyfish.
Oh, let's see that. Bring it closer. Let's see. We have to show the audience. This is gorgeous. Oh, this is really beautiful. And then you have shells. I see there's a wonderful little shell here, right? Do you get these on the beach? Is that where you find them?
I had found most of my shells when I started on the beach, and I happened to make so many sun catchers for friends and family that I don't have any of those left except for the few that I have here.
Oh, well, we've got to see another one. What's another sea theme that you have?
This is one of my first ones that I made, and it came together over time. So when I found the seahorse, I knew that he had to be on it. But I started with wire, so you can see it's kind of all bent. So
yes.
you don't start out with exactly how it's going to turn out over time, but it was a fun way to get started.
Now wait, you have something else here too. What's the green? Is that?
It looks like sea glass to me, so that's how I found that bead, and I said that needs to go with my sun catcher.
But did it come with holes in it?
It did.
Really? And so it's a bead you got from a bead store.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, and the others are beautiful too. Is that what you do? Do you order them online, or do you go to a special store?
I do love to go to antique stores. I really love vintage beads.
Imagine.
That's really fun for me.
They're just beautiful. All right, the seahorse, and let's see, what other one do you have?
This one is a Victorian skeleton key. It came from France, so I got it at an antique show. And the crystal I got in Reno, and when I saw them together, I knew they had to be together. I call it Key to Treasure.
I love that. I was thinking it would be the key to gambling if you were in Reno, but, not necessarily. This is really beautiful. And, it sounds like maybe sun catchers should have special magic powers or something.
Well, I feel really happy when I'm making them, and when they're sparkling, or when I give them away or sell them, it makes me smile.
And so that's the power in having a sun catcher. Right, everybody, you have to know that. Now, what other themes do you have? I see
So
something
here's an owl.
else.
This one was inspired by a friend's
Ooh.
wedding, and she wanted sage and blush colors. So I made a series
Beautiful.
with sage and blush
Sage
colors.
and blush to go with what her
The colors of her wedding.
of her wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a heart up at the top. That really is beautiful. Oh, there's more hearts. You have a few hearts
I
there.
love putting hearts on the sun catchers.
And let's show off that crystal behind the owl.
Yeah, I thought that they paired well together. This is an antique chandelier crystal,
Oh my goodness.
and I put the owl in
gorgeous.
front of it.
Beautiful. And so again, where would you find that crystal?
I find them at antique stores and antique fairs, and people give them to me. So they don't want them to just disappear in their garage.
Now, about how much do these crystals, I mean, the sun catchers, approximately how much do they vary in price?
So the small ones, like the little turtle with the rainbow colors, that one's
look
21.
at- He's adorable, the little turtle.
Yeah.
Oh, how cute.
And they go up to about $50, $60 at the high end.
So it's not only for your artistic talent and the time it takes to make, but it's also for the crystals that you're
Yes.
charging.
Yes.
Crystals are not inexpensive.
No, I'm always on the hunt. So whenever I'm on vacation, I'm searching for them.
And then if you have, some people have older jewelry,
I do.
and maybe
use
you can
those.
get some beads off of the jewelry. But these are crystals. I mean, this is really beautiful. $21. This is beautiful. We'll put that one back before I hide it in my pocket. Let me see what else you have.
So
I
this
s-
one was
Oh,
very
great.
special to me because my grandma, she was getting older. She didn't even remember that I made sun catchers, and she gave me her box of chandelier crystals.
Oh,
and I just
beautiful.
adore her, and that's
Oh,
in
that
memory
is
of her.
Chandelier crystal. There we go. Everyone should have a chandelier in their house. Do you know I have 2 chandeliers? Okay. And of course, they came from antique stores for a very small price. But I mean, people don't have chandeliers. But I actually loved the idea because I have a piano. So the chandelier is over the piano, which really is great. So anybody out there with chandelier crystals, okay, they've got to get in touch with Deanna. And I'm sure we're going to flash your website again, I hope, on the screen so people can know more about you. Let's just take a quick look again at something that caught my eye during rehearsal. It's after the key, there's one on the next. Yes, what is that?
This one is Turtle Time. So it has 2 turtles on it.
Oh,
I just loved
Oh, yes, a little turtle.
the charm.
Oh, I do too. Some people collect, turtles, owls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is, again, it's really a sea theme
Yes.
because the turtles,
It's my favorite.
Oh.
I love blue and green.
it's beautiful. Oh, it goes well. I see the colors. They're beautiful. Right. Now, where are you going to be able to show these?
I'll be at the Ocean Blue Vault from July through September, and I'll be in the annex room, which is just another room that's just opened up. So they've expanded where there's over 40 artists.
Now, where is this?
It's on Main Street, Half Moon Bay.
In Half Moon Bay. A great place. A good reason to go down to Half Moon Bay other than to enjoy the beautiful ambiance down there. But there's a lot of artists.
And I'm there at Silk and Stone year round, a little store in Half Moon Bay.
Oh, silk
On Main Street.
and stone. That is great. Now, is this the only, what do I want to say, job?
I'm a nanny full time,
Oh,
but this is my outlet.
really? And are you a nanny to little ones?
I am
How old?
3, and her little brother was just born.
Oh my goodness! So the 3-year-old would love to see these.
Yeah.
Don't touch them, but
I do activities with children with the beads.
Oh, I think
and make
that's-
keychains and gifts for their parents.
How wonderful. What a nanny. All right, careful. They're going to steal you away from your current job. People love nannies. Many people need a nanny, right? So
True.
that's quite a job.
Yeah.
That keeps you busy.
Yes, definitely. And the great thing about doing sun catchers is that I like to share it with people. So anytime I'm doing a fair, I have a sun catcher creation station. I bring all the beads in a big, big tray and the crystals. They pick it out, they line them up, they string them, I finish it off for them, and they take it home.
Oh,
So they've made their
love
own.
that. That is great. What a great activity for everybody. I mean, if I saw you do this, I would definitely start. I'd say, can you show me how to do, can we make a sun catcher? Now, what are those on the table? Is there anything other than, the ones we've seen, anything that I need to know or that we can show our audience?
This one is a shorter one that's rainbow colors that has a heart on it. And I just really like all the colors of the rainbow. So it's kind of fun
Yes.
to put them together.
And again, when you hang it near a window or in front of a window, the sun catches it.
It does.
And then there's a rainbow image.
And it can be multiple rainbows, depending on how the sun hits it.
That is gorgeous. Now, this is priced very reasonably, $23.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, the one with the seahorse, when you get into that, more expensive,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And about, how much would the seahorse?
45.
And it's worth it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really is beautiful. And the others on the table there are the shorter ones, correct? The ones that was next to the one you just showed
I
me.
have this
Oh.
one that I really like because it has many, many facets, and I call it At the Beach. And every time I make a sun catcher, I try to make them all a little different. They're not no two are alike.
All an original.
Yes.
This is definitely an original. I see a little seahorse, and on this side, I see the sun. Two charms.
And then I have
Charming.
sea creature beads.
Oh,
and it
and I
also
see there.
little
Oh.
dolphin on the top.
Oh, this is perfect. At the beach. And that makes sense. They're just great.
Thank you.
So you were raised in Half Moon Bay.
Yes.
And that's your love probably for the ocean that became apparent when you live in that community. It's just great. Well, I appreciate you coming here today to be on the show, Deanna.
Thank you.
And I was just thinking, I hope we get her, there we go, the information up on the screen for everybody else to see. Suncatcher artist all year long at Silk and Stone in Half Moon Bay.
Yes.
And I think you've also helped at the auction for our station.
I did. It was a blast.
That's where we met. And
Yes.
you helped to raise money.
It was wonderful.
I'm
I really
so
enjoyed
glad.
it.
And thank you for doing that. That's
You're
so
welcome.
important.
My pleasure.
Well, again, I thank you for coming on the show, and I'm going to focus over here. I don't know how much time we have. Did I spend? Maybe someone could give me a signal how much time we have. I think we have plenty of time. I don't know if that was 15 minutes or not, but I'm just waiting for my little sign to come up because I have to watch my time. All right, Kaitlin Bove.
Hello, yes.
And I wanted to say Bove at first, but that's the French pronunciation.
It's pretty close.
And so you're Italian.
I am Italian.
So it's Kaitlin Bove.
Correct.
And tell me about being a conductor. I mean, a female conductor, a woman conducting?
Yeah, we're actually pretty rare, although we are a growing percentage of musicians in classical music. I actually work with a nonprofit called Girls Who Conduct, where we focus on helping young women and high school and college age get experience so they can eventually become conductors themselves and help bring gender parity to the podium.
I think that's wonderful.
Thank you.
So tell me, where were you raised?
I was raised in Lafayette, California, in the East Bay.
And when did you get interested in conducting and music? Let's start with just the music.
Yeah, so I'm the oldest in my family, and there were just musical toys in my house that I always gravitated towards. So my mother started putting me in music lessons. When it was time to sign up to learn an instrument in elementary school, she chose flute for me, and I started having such a great time in middle school band that I wanted to figure out how I could stay. So I knew if I became a music teacher, then I could stay in that classroom after college and make a career of it. And eventually it became college conducting. Yeah.
That is fantastic. What did you play? What was your first instrument?
My very first instrument was piano, but my primary or my main instrument that I went to school with was the flute.
So the flute was the first.
Yes.
And then after that, what did you
Well,
play?
as a music education major, you end up having to learn all the instruments so that you can teach them. A very close secondary of mine would be trumpet. I started learning the banjo during the pandemic, so that's been the instrument I've been practicing
great.
most recently. Yeah.
So much fun.
It is really fun.
I mean, that comes out of the ragtime era. Right?
Well, yeah,
Really?
banjo is an instrument that was invented by the enslaved people of the South in America as an instrument that was similar to what they played in Africa before being brought over to the United States.
That's
and there's been a big
right.
revival about how we can play that instrument more authentically to honor the first people who brought it here.
Yes, and that's right, because I taught music at Good Shepherd School here
Oh.
in Pacifica, classroom music.
Yeah.
And so you're right, I used to go into the history of some of the instruments, and yes, you reminded me. This is it. But the band, what do you play? How many strings on your banjo?
Banjo, I have a
Because
5-string. There are 4 strings, but
Yes.
I like the bluegrass finger picking style banjo.
Oh, wow. So you just started practicing?
Just back in 2020 when we were home with nothing else to do, I said, okay, we're going to commit the time to getting that instrument learned.
Well, how many years have you been, I guess, conducting?
Yeah, so it's been about 15 years since I became a music teacher. If we think about more of the artistic side of conducting, which you end up seeing more in academia and college, university level, or
Right.
professional or community ensembles, I've been doing that since 2019 after I earned my doctorate in conducting.
So you have a doctorate in conducting.
do.
So let's say there's someone out there saying, I would love to be a conductor. What do they have to do? The first thing is they have to go to graduate from high school.
Sure.
And then tell us about your education.
Well,
becoming
so you can go the education track, or you can also just be naturally talented and discovered. Sometimes artists and actors are not necessarily school trained in those
That's
things.
true.
So there's a chance that
True.
people can go through without the training. But to be the best musician you can be on whatever given instrument or your voice, so that you can just understand music at that level.
Right.
And then conducting is all about learning how to use your body, use your face, use your hands, use a baton in a way that informs gesture and interpretation to an ensemble of musicians in a way that they can understand, interpret, and then perform on their given instruments or voices.
And so what did you do? You went to college where?
I did. My bachelor's and master's are from the University of the Pacific in Stockton, and those are in music education. My doctorate in wind conducting is from University of Kentucky in Lexington, Kentucky.
What a difference, right? Going
Very
from
different.
California to Kentucky.
That is correct. Yes, very
Yes.
different experiences.
Did you bring back those chocolates that have bourbon in
the
them?
bourbon ball chocolates? I had a lot of those when I lived in Kentucky, and I don't think I've had a single one since I moved back. So
It's
you're
time to
inspiring
go
me.
back. I think it's time, Kaitlin. But it is so amazing. You said you're a band conductor.
Yes.
I first have to tell the audience I saw her at the Golden Gate Park conducting the Golden Gate Park band about 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And I said to myself, wait a minute, they have a guest conductor who's a gal, a woman.
Yeah.
What? I wonder how she'll conduct.
Well, I hope I did a good job.
You did a great
Thank
job.
you.
Then what the big surprise was you got up and you also recited a poem, Casey at the Bat,
Yes.
because this is baseball season.
It is.
And so we'll get to that in a few minutes, but that's what just floored me. I said, oh my gosh, and she's an actress. Well, I watched you conduct, and you say you use your body. You do. And now you said I know this wouldn't happen to me, but you said some people are born with the gift. Well, when I was teaching music many times and I had a choir, I would,
That's
do
conducting,
this.
sure. Yeah.
Of sorts. But there's a way to do it this way, like down, across.
Yes.
And then we get into what is the difference?
Oh, yeah. So
Simply.
basically, all music has a repetition of pattern. The pattern is oftentimes 2 or 3 or 4 beats. And so
Right.
that pattern of gesture kind of shows where you're at in those beats. So 2, 3, 4,
Oh, you know your
even
stuff.
5. You could go on and on, but it just
yeah.
helps the musicians to know what beat they're on.
Yes, it does, because I have a band, and I work with musicians
Yes.
too, and because I'm a singer. But it does help to let them know what you're going to do and
Absolutely.
what you want. Now, we have to take a look at you. We want to see you, Kaitlin Bove, the conductor. So I happened to just have a few little clips from YouTube. And let's take a look. Whoops, put my glasses on to read this one. But all right, I have a little clip of you. Kaitlin conducts the University of Kentucky Wind Symphony and Orchestra.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at that, everybody. Here we go. Wow, those are all wind instruments.
Wind and percussion, and then you heard a piano as well.
That's true. So the wind instruments, very quickly for the audience, just for those.
Flute, oboe, bassoon, clarinet, bass clarinet, alto sax, tenor sax, bari sax, trumpet, horn, trombone, euphonium, tuba.
Did you get an A on the test?
Hopefully.
You're amazing. Okay, good. I hope everybody learned something out there. Now, the next clip we have is the Festive Overture at the University of Kentucky. And we have close-ups of you as you're conducting, and I thought they were very impressive. So let's show that clip. Oh, my. Okay. We must have run short of time there. Is that right? We have time for another clip, though, right? The pandemic comes along.
Yes.
Okay. We have 5 minutes. Good.
Okay.
The pandemic comes along, and suddenly life changes.
It does.
Everybody has to stay home. So the next clip we have is of you putting together something with the flute, and you are playing the flute. Have yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Yeah, I arranged a 6-part flute arrangement of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, so I could play, I guess, with myself,
Yes, what
just
you're doing.
different tracks of the music. Yeah.
Well, let's see this one. I've got to see this. It's beautiful. I don't know how you
Thank
did it, but
you.
it is just beautiful. And the last clip I have, we have to show this too. During the pandemic, you had the Ramo project at Pierce College, and you created this with your students. And what happens is we're going to be seeing some dancers who choreographed, right? And they're all in different places. Where are they?
They are all at their own homes in Utah, and we coordinated over the internet. They came up with a ballet routine set to the music that we created also at home in Washington State.
Phenomenal. Let's watch this. I am so impressed how
Thank
they
you.
did that and you coordinated all that. And
Yes.
I love the hand singles.
That was fun.
That was fun. They definitely interjected that. Well, this is the pièce de résistance, as we say. After all of your conducting at the Golden Gate Park Band concert, I noticed that you got up and suddenly had your baseball cap on and you recited some of Casey at the Bat. We had to cut a little short for my show, but I want everybody to see what an artist you are. And this is 135th anniversary of when this poem was written. It's a very famous poem, everybody, right? And it's baseball season. All right, take it away, Kaitlin.
It looked extremely rocky for the Mudville Nine that day. The score stood 4-2 with but one inning left to play. So when Cooney died at second and Burroughs did the same, a pall-like silence fell upon the patrons of the game. A straggling few got up to leave, leaving there the rest, with hope that springs eternal from within the human breast. They thought, if only Casey could get a whack at that, we'd put up even money now with Casey at the bat. But Flynn preceded Casey, and likewise so did Blake. And the former was a puddin', and the latter was a fake. So on that stricken multitude, a death-like silence sat, for it seemed but little chance of Casey's getting to the bat. But Flynn let go a single to the wonderment of all, and the much despised Blakey tore the cover off the ball. So when the dust had settled, and they saw what had occurred, there was Blakey safe at second, and Flynn a huggin' third. From the gladdened multitude arose a joyous yell. It bounded off the mountaintop and rattled in the dell. It struck upon the hillside and rebounded off the flat, for Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat.
Yay. Oh, you are wonderful. Have a seat. And do you know anything about baseball?
I know nothing about baseball.
Well, either do I, but that changes my whole perspective listening to Casey at the Bat. You were terrific.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for coming on the show today, Kaitlin Bove. And it's just a privilege. And out there in TV land, you too can be a conductor. Take it from Kaitlin. She'll inspire you. You did inspire us all. And Deanna, your beautiful artwork with your sun catchers, definitely. They are definitely worth seeing and enjoying. And you're going to be in Half Moon Bay. So I hope everybody paid attention to where you're going to be. And I'm going to just tell everybody that since I'm a singer and a performer, I produce a show at a restaurant in San Francisco called Vico Cavone. And I'm going to be there on June 22nd. So if you're not doing anything from 6 to 9, come have dinner, drop in. You don't need a ticket. There's the flyer. And please contact me if you want to be on my show. This is a show about artists performing. It's about everybody. Thank you again for being on my show. Bye, everybody.
Like a crazy with a hey mambo, don't want a tarantella, hey mambo, no more a mozzarella, hey mambo.